All right, guys, welcome to the video on setting your goals. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about how to set your goals so that you're setting yourself up for success, right? And that might sound a little bit ridiculous, but there is a certain way, personally, that I set my goals so that there's a few things that are going on. One, that they're realistic. Two, they're measurable. And three, that they have a time limit. So my college wrestling coach taught me this. If you're gonna set a goal for yourself, you need to be able to evaluate yourself on that metric, or else the goal is pretty much useless, right? So if I said, I want to make a lot of money, how do you ever evaluate whether you've reached that goal or not? Being rich needs to be defined by you, and you need to give yourself some way of measuring that, right? So in a minute, we're gonna go over my goals for the next year, and then I'm gonna help you structure your goals, and then I'm eventually gonna ask you to reach out to me with your goals, and we're gonna have a discussion on them, okay? So, and this is gonna be an interactive process. So one, realistic goals. You need to be making a goal for yourself that you actually have a chance of reaching, and not to kill dreams or anything, but this is the number one stage where people make goals that they don't ever end up fulfilling, right? So if you said like, I wanna make $1 billion trading in the next year, that's a very unrealistic goal, honestly. Could you do that? Yeah, sure. But it's gonna require a great deal of risk. It's gonna require a great deal of stress when you're halfway through the year and you're not even close to halfway through your goal. And it's gonna just, kind of discourage you, right? So we wanna be setting goals that are realistic. Obviously it's very self-explanatory. Pretty much give yourself a destination that you're going to be able to get to, pretty much. And if you have a question about where the range is that you have, chances of getting to, I would set it on the lower side, right? Because the first goals that you set when you're trading, you wanna hit. So if I'm starting trading with $10,000, right? Obviously there's the testing phase that happens at $100, and then there's the scale up phase with emotions that goes from $1,000 to $10,000 like we talked to. So if I'm starting with $10,000, maybe my goal is in the first month, I would like to make $100 trading. That's a pretty achievable goal, right? That's a 1% return over the course of 1 month. And a lot of that month you're gonna spend at the first phase, $100, okay? And obviously these goals are gonna be on you to make. I can't decide your goals for you. I can only give you guidance on how to set goals and what my goals are, for example. So the second thing that you're gonna focus on is making sure that your goals are measurable. You have a solid way of measuring whether or not you have arrived at that goal, and you're gonna be able to put either a check mark in the box or an X in the box whether or not you've reached that goal. So if you said, I wanna make $100 in my first month of trading, that's a check or an X. That's a very measurable goal, because you can sit down on the 31st of the month and say, did I make $100 net in the month? And if the answer is no, then you didn't. And if the answer is yes, then you did. So that goal is already measurable. Examples of non-measurable goals is like, I want to be rich. Obviously, rich means different things to different people. And if you have a set definition of what rich means to you, then that's great. Then you can, list that out and say, I want to achieve A, B, C, be rich. But odds are, making a goal to be rich or something else that's nebulous and you don't really know whether you've achieved it or not, lets you settle, right? And the thing is, we don't want to be settling for our goals. We want to stick to our goals and strive for them, not pull them towards us and settle on the actual end result. So if you set a goal for yourself that you want to make money trading, that's also non-measurable. You can't really measure, did I make money trading? Obviously, plus or minus, you can measure, am I net positive or net negative? But you wanna definitely give yourself some way of evaluating with a yes or a no, did you achieve that goal when the time comes? All right, and the last one, guys, is to give yourself a time limit. Most people make goals that are just, like forever, they just go on forever. So if I'm like, I wanna make $10,000 trading, that goal is, that time limit's never up. So you could be doing terrible for 3 years and say, I'm still on track to make my goal, just because you never give yourself a time limit on the goal. What you might say is, I want to make $10,000 in the first year trading. So whatever date it is now, that time next year, I'm going to be able to measure, did I make $10,000 trading by this day? And that also goes with measurable, as you can't measure something if you don't have a time limit. And then the last thing, a bonus one, I know I said there's only 3 bullet points, but you wanna make your goals specific. You wanna really dial in, especially when you're starting. You wanna start doing little things right first, right? So maybe when you start, you really specify your goal in terms of just share trading. I wanna make 5 share trades in the next 2 weeks and have three of them be profitable. That's a very specific, realistic, measurable goal with a time limit that you can set, and on that date, whether or not you achieved it. So now I'm gonna go over what my goals are for the next year, just to give you guys an example of the kinds of goals that you might be looking to forecast for yourself for the future. So my first goal, and this has been a rolling goal for a while and it's changed a little bit, but make $20,000 a month trading. I don't hit this every month. Some months it's more, some months it's less, and some months it's even negative. That's what trading is, right? We talked about it. Trading isn't about certainty, it's about probability. And making 20 grand a month is an awesome thing to shoot for, but at the end of the day, it's not something I hit every single month, and that's okay. You don't have to hit your goals every month. They're goals because you're reaching for them, right? You're making them something that you're striving for. So maybe you want to structure your goal a little bit differently, but I do think you should have some sort of profit goal. Like, I want to make X amount of money in X amount of time, or I want to make X amount of money every X week, day, month, year. Typically, we don't want to set goals to the day. I know in the past I have told you my daily goal is $1,000. But you might restrict yourself a little bit because like we talked about with the expectations, the law of large numbers kind of prohibits us from being very certain on every single day you're gonna hit something. But if you actually widen that time period, especially as a beginner, you have a much better shot of reaching that goal. So I would maybe say week or month. A lot of our members choose to make weekly goals and then break it down by day. I think that's a very fair way to do it. My second goal is to grow the High Strike Trading Instagram page to 250,000 by the end of the year. I set this goal on January 1st. I think we were about 30,000 followers at that point. Now we're almost to 100. So we're a little bit less than on track to do that, but that's okay. It's still a nice goal there, nice goal to have to strive for. And if I sit down on January 1st and evaluate that goal isn't hit, then I'm gonna just push that date out a little bit. I know we talked about not pushing dates out, but obviously if the deadline comes and it's not done, then you can still have that as a goal projected forward. That's fine. And guys, when you make your goals, they don't have to just all be trading related. I know at the end of this video, I'm gonna ask you to send me your goals. You can send me whatever goals you want, whether it be lifestyle, personal, finance, trading, work related, whatever you want to do. I think it's fine to group them all into one thing. I'm here to give you guidance on whatever you need. So my third goal is actually to help 10,000 people learn to trade by July 1st, 2021. So that's about a year from right now. We're recording this video on Friday, July 16th, 2020. So we have just under a year to do that. We have just under 2,000 people in the course right now. So I'd love to help 5 times that many people learn how to trade by 1 year from today. I think that's a pretty achievable goal. I gave myself a time limit and it's absolutely measurable. I can sit down on July 1st and say, do I have 20,000 students or not? All right, so that is my video on setting your goals. I would really love you to send me your goals either through text or through the Slack group. Just break down what your goals are. You can do 3 of them, 1 of them, 25 of them, whatever you want. I'll get back to you and let you know at least how realistic the trading goals are for someone that's new, because sometimes it might be a little bit tough for someone who's completely new to evaluate goals for being realistic or not. So I'll definitely get back to you on that and help you tweak your goals if necessary, all right? In this video, you learned how to set your goals. The next video, we're going to be teaching you the difference between a cash and a margin account. And then we'll go over the basics of order flow, start to get into some actual stock trading stuff. And then we'll finish up section 1. Then we'll get into section 2, which is actual stock charting and reading stock charts. See you guys there.